Hello. Hello. Happy weekend, everyone. Someone. Okay. Hello. Thank you, Alik Hilaris, for joining in, and blessings to you too from Nigeria. Blessings to you, Kenny Paul for live. Blessings to you, Efe Chicharis. Kema Ruking Glory, thank you for joining in. If you are joining us for the very first time, this is Life's Journey with Benedicta, and we're here late nights every Saturday. So if you're wondering what Life's Journey with Benedicta is all about, it's a show where we come to talk about topical issues, especially issues bordering on women-related effects, children, upbringing, divorce, stigmatization, the social effects associated with divorce, remarriage, and children custody issues, social welfare issues that affects women, children, and the society at large. And of course, chit chat every now and then if we catch an interesting story that is going on in our society. We come here to talk about them, not just for laughs, but to learn from them. I am of the opinion that there is a story to learn in every given situation, no matter how bad it is. Sometimes we just get into these problems so that we get to learn from them. And sometimes we're opportuned to listen to other people tell their stories so that we can learn from them. So today's topic is going to be very interactive. And if at any point in time you feel like joining in live to air your views, to contribute in any way, maybe by sharing your story or telling us of a similar situation that you have experienced, please just wave, ask to be invited, request to be invited, and I will bring you on. Okay? So thank you all for joining in. And for those of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you so much for subscribing. It is Tastebuds NG on YouTube. So today's topic, we are going to be discussing education and the use of contraceptives for our teens. I know a lot of people are going to come for my neck, but I have been stressing this, the need for extensive education. Because of the algorithm, I don't want to be using the word repeatedly, sex. I don't want to be saying it repeatedly, but today we are talking about education and the use of contraceptives for our teenagers. How early is too early? Is this something that we should be talking about in our secondary schools in Nigeria? Because I know in advanced countries, we are behind. If you talk about the UK government, the American government, the Canadian government, it is a must in their school curriculum. All children that are in high school, early stages of high school, not even advanced high school. I'm talking about children between the ages of 13 and 19, right? But in high school, we're talking about children between the ages of 13 and 16. They are being taught education. They are being taught the use of contraceptives. But here in our society, it is a taboo. It is not something people want to talk about. Okay? The belief you talking to children about this is you preempting them to do it, or you, teaching them something they don't know about, and you are forcing them to be aware of things of that nature. But I've got news for you. Whether you choose to educate them about activities or you choose to educate them about the use of contraceptives, somehow they will still get this education. Either you give it to them in the rightful manner, in such a way that it is controlled and it is understood. They are now going to be thrown out there into the public where they are forced to learn these things by themselves. So if you are joining us for the first time today, you're just joining us now, our topic for today is education and the use of contraceptives for our teenagers. What is your take on it? What is your take on it? Do you think our teenagers should be taught about contraceptives as early as 13 years of age? I'm talking about boys and girls, not just the girl child. I'm talking about boys and girls. Should they be taught about contraceptives as early as 13? Or should we just end it at teaching them education as regards reproduction, which is usually what is taught currently in most of our Nigerian secondary schools? Children are taught reproduction mainly when it comes to education. And I am of the opinion that this education should be more inclusive of what happens should they do it, what happens if they decide not to be good children, okay? If they decide to do those things that as parents we dread the most, what should they do afterwards? So I'm of the opinion that just teaching them reproduction in education isn't sufficient. Some people are of the opinion that aside teaching them reproduction in education, we should go a step further in teaching them the uses of contraceptives. Now, before we go further, I would also like to clarify this, that children that are considered teenagers are children between the ages of 13 to 19, because I know there's a lot of debate about that. Some people say, teenagers are between 13 and 15. Some say they're between 15 and 19. No. By our dictionary definition, the word teenager starts from 13 to 19. So when I say, should our teenagers be taught education and the use of contraceptives, I am talking about children between the ages of 13 to 19. Please, just 1 minute while I try to put this. Yeah, before that interruption, we were talking about children, the age category of children that falls in the teenager range. And we said children between the ages of 13 and 19. So if you're joining us for the first time, what is your take on this? Should children between those ages be taught education that is inclusive of the use of contraceptives? Now, I'm going to briefly talk about some of those societal issues we have with early pregnancies, as opposed to just leaving the children in the dark. Don't tell them anything about contraceptives. Don't teach them anything other than reproduction. And if it happens, it happens. You see, there's a huge risk with that kind of mentality. And that is the mentality that our parents had when we were children. And it is a shame that it's still the mentality that majority of parents in this day and age still have. You know, let's not teach them so much about contraception. Let's not even teach them anything about contraception. And let's pray that things like that never happens. You know, here in Nigeria, we always have this mentality of, it's not my portion, God forbid. It's not, it can never happen to me. I reject it in Jesus' name. I reject it. You see, we should move past the phase of prayers and start acting. Yes, we're going to pray about it. Nobody wants a sorry situation in their homes. Nobody wants to be faced with a teen that is pregnant. It is not anybody's wish. It is, in fact, a mother's, one of the greatest nightmares that any mom could ever have, to have a teenage pregnant daughter. Okay? Now, some of the societal ills, or rather social situations, social circumstances that will arise should you have a teenage daughter that is pregnant, is, we all know higher education. That's the first thing. It's going to stop, because at a point when the belly is out there, she's not going to be able to go to school. So this is going to adversely affect her mental health. And we know the result of this. Sometimes children with mental health issues end up trying to take their lives, or even succeed in taking their lives. And then the risk associated with teenage pregnancy is this, and this I consider the biggest risk. These children will not even come home to tell you that this is what has happened. In most cases, they take the matters into their own hands. They would rely on a friend or another friend to help them get rid of the belly situation. This can result in an entire loss of life. So mothers, when you're out there and you're saying, God forbid, it's not my portion, I think we should start pushing for the schools, the secondary schools that our children are attending currently, to do more in terms of education. Education in our secondary schools should be inclusive of birth control methods. I hate to be the one to be saying this, because I know when I'm done with this life, my goodness, I'm going to have some serious bashing. People are really going to come at me and they're going to bash me. Our children need to know that this isn't what they ought to be doing at this age. But they also have to know the implications of getting involved sexually when they are not supposed to be. And they also have to know what to do should a situation like that arise. Now, do you know that there are so many children in secondary schools that are already sexually active and their parents are not even aware? So now, are you wondering, are you asking yourselves, what are the preventive methods those children are using in order not to get pregnant? As a parent, do you wonder, how did they get to learn about these preventive methods? Who is the person teaching them about these preventive methods? Who are the people supplying them with the contraceptive pills, the IUDs, or whatever it is that they are using? These are some of the questions that as parents we should stop avoiding and start asking. You know, we always want to believe that all our children are saints, they are good. In light of what just happened with the Chrisland saga, that's the one we know of, or the one that is current. But I tell you that there are so many instances like that is going on in our secondary schools, in our institutions of learning for minors. Parents do not want to, accept that these things are happening. Do you realize that a child that is sexually active can contract HIV or any STD out there if not properly protected? Do these children know about the different ways that they can protect themselves from contracting STDs? And is this education taught in our schools? Or are the schools expecting the churches to do the teachings? Or are the schools expecting the parents to do the teachings? These are the questions I want us as parents to begin to ask. And if the school is leaving this responsibility solely on the parents to teach, then it is wrong. We have to change the narrative. It is time we stopped just praying and we started doing. Whatever it is you desire to see, whatever changes it is you desire to have, you have to be a catalyst in ensuring that that change becomes a reality, that that change takes place. So as parents, I want us to start asking ourselves these questions. Are we doing enough to ensure that our children's secondary school curriculum is inclusive of S education that comprises of safe S practices, preventive methods, and the likes of it? If not, we are not acting in the best interest of our children. I am not campaigning or agitating for children that are teenagers to engage in any of these activities. No, 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 no. The answer is no. At that age in their life, this is not what they should be doing, you know. But then things happen, bad things happen, the Christian situation happens. How do we protect our children? How do we protect them in a situation like that? There's a lot of peer pressures in our institutions of learning for minors. Children succumb to peer pressures. Even adults, we do, let alone children. So how are we equipping them in such a way that they can survive this? So these are some of the things that I would like us to talk about, okay? So if you're here and you'd like to request to join in, you want to air your views, just let me know and I'll bring you on board. Pa Petit said in the United States, as early as 13, children are being taught safe sex practices and the use of contraceptives. Yes, in the States, it is being taught. In civilized countries, in the Western world, children are actually being taught these things at an early age. But here in Nigeria, the situation is different. We need to change the narratives. And if as a parent, we are not pushing this, nobody is going to push for us. We have to start being more proactive in the PTA meetings in our children's schools, because if we do not demand that these things are being taught, then it will never be taught. And for those of us that are very religious, because I know a lot of the time why this is not being taught in our schools is because the church also controls a lot of what happens in the schooling environment. If the church says it's a sin, children are not supposed to know so much about reproduction, about S education and contraceptives, automatically the school system will also not embrace it. Who are the people that makes up the school system? The same people that go to your church with, you go to your church with on Sundays, the same people your pastors are preaching to. They are the people that makes up the academic and non-academic staff of every school. So this paradigm shift we're asking for in the educational system for minors should actually start from the church. We have Sunday schools in church where they teach the Bible, but we never find it as important to talk about matters like this. We cannot run away from matters like this. These things, they happen. It is not something that happens every day. It is not a normal situation. It's not something we want as parents to happen. But when it happens, how do we address the situation? No mother, no parent wants to have a child that protracts an STD, okay? Or gets pregnant early, but it happens. Hello.
Hi, I'm calling from the US.
What's your name?
My name is Funmi.
Funmi, thanks for joining in.
Yes, the last time you had a show, I wanted to join, but I think it was the timing was very wrong.
Oh,
First of all, I think one of the problem we have is that we want to raise our kids the way we are raised.
hmm.
It's totally wrong. We need to, first of all, I'm talking about we that are born in the 70s, 80s, we have to change our mindset. For example, if we go back to look at our parents, the way they are raised is different from the way we are raised. They were
Absolutely.
not raised with they were not raised with love. They were not raised with kindness. They were not raised with intimate relationship with their parents. It's just like, do this, you just have to do it, you just have to do it. Now, we that are educated, we need to change our perspective, how we see stuff, how we do stuff. We should be able to be friends to our kids. If you know you're not going to have time to raise kids, please, you're not in the business of having them.
Ex-
Because if you don't raise them right, the TV will raise them,
the internet.
the computer system will raise them. Even the maid you're bringing into your house, you don't know what their orientation is. Molestation starts from the inside the house. That's why I live in the US. I don't believe in sleepovers. My children, I don't care who you are.
Same here.
My kids don't go my kids don't go to sleepovers. I don't, because I'm a nurse and I work in this field and I've seen a lot of abuse. When we went on a medical mission to Haiti, a 4-year-old was having a vaginal discharge because the person that the mother was leaving the child for was molesting the child and happens to be the mother's brother.
Oh
And she never
no.
knows. Yes. So my first take on this is, what is your mindset about raising a child? What are we going to do better? I always tell people, we are expecting too much from us that were raised in Nigeria, that our parents don't know better. Now, it is left for us, as the ones that are educated, to start raising our kids the proper way. And what are the proper way? Sex education. I have a 12 years old that I've taught that if anybody touch you in the anus, you let me know. If they touch you in the pee-pee, you let me know. Even in schools, if you go to bathroom, in schools, kids are molested by their own peers. They are bullied into doing things that they don't want to do. So I started by 9 years old, which is preteen, to tell him about what sex is, to make him understand. Because when we were growing up, my mother would say, if you sit down near a guy, you get pregnant. No, we are not in that age anymore. We are in the dispensation where you have to teach them reality. You have to tell them. You have to, like, that's the reason why I like America. As a nurse, I do pediatric nursing, and kids are allowed to talk to their doctor if they want contraceptives. They can go for any kind because they know that they might fall a victim of whatever they want. So in the state of Delaware, I live in Pennsylvania, but in the state of Delaware, as you can go to a Planned Parenthood as old as 11 years old to get contraceptive. You can get any kind. So it's legal. It's not illegal.
It was 13. You mean 11?
Now,
wow.
In Delaware, but in Pennsylvania it's 13. But in Delaware it's 11. So, so in different states, US is big. Different states have different law. So the law that works in New York might not work in Pennsylvania. But all I tell people is, it starts from you as a parent.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to teach your kids. I hate people blaming school for not teaching sex education. Teach your kids at home first. It's everything. Family orientation starts from the home. What are you passing on to these children? What are we doing? Because the kind of life I see people live off of social media, you're a single mom, you invite different kind of men to the house. You don't know what those men are doing to your kids. We just live nonchalant life. And that is the reason why I say it starts from the home. First of all, you need to have a conversation with your kids, like real conversation. You don't mice words when it comes to your children. You need to protect them with every fiber in your being. You have to stand to look out for them. You have to make them your best friend. You have to be like where they can come and talk to at any time, not hiding. Not, you have to, when you see, in the middle of the night, sometimes I'll just go into my son's room, I will search, I will look, I will try to find out things. When I see strange things, when he's doing strange things, I'll ask, oh boy, what's going on? What's going on? Tell me. That's why every day when he comes back from school, we have a conversation. When I mean conversation, real conversation, I say, boy, what happened? Every night, we sit down, before we do our night prayer, I ask him, what happened in school? What are your challenges? What happened? He tells me everything. Even the day they were teaching homosexualism in their school, because in American school now, in my son's school, they're already teaching them to accept same-sex marriage. My son came home and said, Mommy, I don't know why they have to shove
LGBT,
Yes. He said, Mommy, I don't know why they have to shove that off my throat. What did he say? He said, I don't shove my sexuality into their face. Why would they bring theirs to me? I said, son, you need to calm down. The first thing I asked him, I said, what is your take on it? He said, Mommy, I don't believe in that because the Bible said, and I said, okay, because I didn't go ahead to start telling him it's bad or it's this. I said, what is your take? What do you understand about it?
So you need to,
yes, so he explained, and I'll give him my own view. We need to listen to our children. We need to listen to them. Most parents don't listen. We don't listen. We do a lot of talking.
They don't ask.
We only talk. You need to listen to them. Don't do the talking alone. You need to ask them of their view. You need to ask them what do they understand about what is going on. You need to ask questions. You need to explain why you are. See, my son will question everything you tell him, and if he's not buying it, it's written all over his face. So you can't sell him any BS. So, and that is what the kids of nowadays are so inquisitive. They want to know. If you don't tell them, the society will tell them, internet will tell them, their schoolmates. If you're talking about yours, you don't know the home that their schoolmates are coming from. You don't know the home they are coming from. You can only talk about what you do in your home. Hi. You can only talk about what you do in your home. What they do in other people's, the kind of life they live in other people's home, you don't know. So we need to do better as the millennial parents. That's the way I look at it. We need to do better. We need to forget.
We were raised.
Oh my God, if I follow the way I'm raised, oh my God, till I left home, no boyfriend is allowed to come to my house. My mom is that strict. She's a sweet mom, but she's very strict. And that is, we can't raise them like that. We need to be their friends. We need to listen to them.
I have children in the university, like 18, 19. I tell them, I say, look, you have to be open with me. If you do have a boyfriend, I'd like to know him, you know? And there was a time one of my daughters told me, oh, there's this boy she really liked, but she doesn't think he likes her. I had to talk to her about self-confidence, self-love, and being only with someone that loves and appreciates you. Because if you do not start talking to them about things like that, they might end up believing that they can love the boy enough for both of them. So
yes, and those are the problems we have. Yes. We don't want to discuss. We want to leave the maid. I don't understand how a parent like me now, I don't work weekend and I don't pick up shifts. I pick up day shift when my son is going to school. I'm coming home at the same time. Because the point is, I know some situation is hard where you can't do the same thing, but there are some sacrifices you have to make to raise your children right. I'm serious. Because at the end of the day, you will be in trouble for not being there for your kids.
And
it's not about the money.
Your mistakes for the rest of your life.
I can give you a whole lot of experiences that I've experienced that people have gone through in our Nigerian community in this US. Just because it's all about work for parents, and at the end of the day, those kids a lot of them are rotting in jail now. Just because you won't make out time. There's time for everything. There's time for everything. My two kids are like 11 years apart. I have a 23-year-old and I have a 12-year-old. But my 12-year-old is the one taking all my time because I have to be there for him. I have to make sure he gets the knowledge, not just schooling. It's not about schooling. We
It's
think
not
they learn everything from school.
goes
No.
past education.
No, we are the one as parents that will teach them morals, conduct, all the things they're gonna do out there. It comes from us as parents, and that is why I say, first of all, we need to change our orientation. My take on this is, first, we have to get away from what our parents taught us, because we were in that area where Yoruba will say "Batoju dudu," when the eyes were dark ages. Now we have to see that the dispensation that we are now is totally different from when we were raised. When I was growing up, they used to bath me outside.
There was
No internet. We didn't know nothing. We didn't know nothing. I didn't grow up rich. Boys and girls will sleep in the house, but in the US, you cannot put boys and girls in the same room. You know that you get in trouble. You can never. So things have changed. So we need to change our idea, the way we perceive stuff, the way we do stuff. We need to change everything totally. Leave those jet age thinking. Now see things the way that everything has changed. Like I am not of support that you should give a 13 or a 12 years old an iPhone where they can see things and do things. Even during pandemic, when they gave all the kids in the US laptops, there's a way they did it that they cannot go further than where they want them to go. So if they are trying to prevent them from, if they are trying to prevent,
you can put on those devices.
Oh yeah.
So you can monitor.
I think I will come in there. I think I will come in there.
Okay, go ahead. Let me listen to every other person.
All right.
You said there's a way they lock the internet, right?
Yes.
But our children are so smart. Do you know that?
Very. My son has
they have their own way. They have their own way.
Oh.
They have the way to go behind.
100%. My son did it too. Let me tell you, there's one thing they call Infinito or Indigo or something. Once they put it on the computer, I learned it from him because I took the phone. So they'll put it. God bless you, my sister. I don't even know the name. They will put it in every website that they visit. You will not even see anything.
You will not see it.
And that is why, because I'm close to my son. That's why I'm able to pick on that. If I am not close, I won't be able to pick on that. That's what it still boils down to, the relationship you have with your kids. I'm not saying.
Oh, Chris TV, thank you for joining in.
Yeah, thank you guys. I would say, like, my daughter, she has iPhone, but it's paired to her father's phone. So whatever app she downloads, her father approves it. Whatever she does, messages that go back and forth between her and her friends, we have a copy of it in the iCloud. So
in the iCloud.
We share
the same iCloud. Try doing that. Sharing the
so
same
we use all the downloads she makes, all the communication, text messages between people, WhatsApp messages. We have the download in the iCloud. But at the same time, we have to just put an eye to our children because they are growing in jet age, you know.
Yes.
And they do a lot of things. My daughter did video for me. She's just 13, she's just 12. And she travels the street of London going to school. And she's so smart. She outsmarts me, but the father just keep tracking her. Anywhere she goes, we are tracking her. We have tracker in her phone. So we have to do our best, talk to them what life is. There's some conversation I have with my daughter. What do you think about this? And she will tell me. Or what do you think about this? She will tell me. Then I say, oh, we don't do this. She said, but you are so African. You are so African. I said, we are Africans, but you know, but you just have to hear them. Here you don't shout for kids. You don't beat them. You don't scold them. You just have to dialogue with them in love and persuade them, you know, just to be on the same term. Like, we don't say to my daughter, oh, what do you want to study? What do you want to be? We'd like send her articles of some degrees that are worth nothing, some degrees are worth something. And then she will come to me and say, oh, what's that trying to say here? Is that saying that this degree is not good? I said, no, the degree is good. But how do you want to pay your bills in the UK? Do you see how much they earn? So you have to like negotiate with them in this age. They don't force your idea down their throats. I'm sorry to say that sometimes if I get offended, I still go back to my child to appeal to her and say, oh, sorry, please, can we dialogue now?
Oh, I do that a lot of time too. I don't play with that because we do offend our kids and we don't take responsibility. It's very wrong as parents. So most times when you offend your kids, just call them and tell them you're sorry. It doesn't reduce you as a parent.
Yeah.
It makes them, it teaches them
It
about
teaches them
responsibility
to
too.
learn,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
to
to
learn to
understand
apologize
that,
when they're wrong.
to apologize to
Yeah, it
stuff.
teaches
Yeah.
them.
So I
Yeah,
do
So
thank you
there's
so
apologize to
much.
nothing
her.
wrong.
And the question here is, what is your take for our children to be taught the use of contraceptives here in Nigeria? The education that is given to our children is solely reproduction. They don't go beyond that.
Yeah.
And the church is also one of the factors, because what is not approved in the churches will definitely not be approved in the school. I am of the opinion that parents have a lot to do, but also the school has to complement the efforts of the parents. Just teaching children about reproduction doesn't sum up what education should be. We do not want them to go into these practices, but the knowledge of the consequences is key, that they know that they are impacted with this knowledge. So they
Yeah.
know what the stand to risk, to lose, should they do those things we do not want them to do as parents. But you see, Nigerian factor, we always say, God forbid, it's not my portion. I will never have an adolescent, a teenager that is pregnant. Oh, that's not my portion. We have to move past that is not my portion,
Yeah.
praying and actually start doing. So do you think it is sinful, it is wrong to teach our children
No,
about
no,
It
health?
is
no.
not wrong.
No, no, no. I do not think it's wrong. Actually, there was a video I did on this US law on abortion, okay? So I put that on my YouTube page. But the thing about it is that we don't like addressing the elephant in the room, being Nigerians. We
Yeah.
cover it with religious and cultural views. So it's important. Like in the UK, school kids can get contraceptive, but there's a guideline they follow. That guideline is called Fraser Guideline. Without the parents, you can go to your healthcare provider. As long as certain tick boxes are met, the child can have contraceptive as a teenager in school here in the UK. But you follow a guideline called the Fraser Guidelines. So
Yeah.
I, for one, growing up in Nigeria, I grew up in the house of a medical doctor, and there was clinic run there. There has never been a taboo about contraceptive my growing up. And my coming to UK is acceptable that when you get to teenage age and you are sexually active, you should go to you should go to the hospital. So in the UK, the NHS has what they call sexual clinic. So you should go and talk to a doctor or a qualified practitioner of health
Yeah.
to be able to prescribe what you need. I don't frown at it because it will stop the issue of unwanted pregnancy. I always say, an adult of reproductive age and you're having sexual intercourse, you should be protected.
Yeah.
Because I, for one, if I'm going into sexual intercourse, it's because I want to keep the baby. And if I don't want to keep the baby, then I should use protection. So why are we leaving our kids without protection? Why are we seeing it as a bad thing? Because they will be sexually active anyway. There is no need to lie about it. Most people in the church will say, oh, I married my husband as a virgin. I married my wife as a virgin. But it's not
It's not
true. We know
happening
it's
these
not
days
true.
anymore.
It's not
Let's
true
wake
anymore.
up
So
and
why not?
smell the coffee.
Yes,
You know?
it's not true anymore. Why don't we equip our children with all the needed? Because Nigeria as well, the government don't help you to raise a child. If you have a child out of wedlock, you're struggling with it. I would say in Europe and the UK, the government assists single moms with certain things. But then
Yeah,
the
they do
bulk
not.
of it is in you as well. So why then leave a child who is not protected to just have sex? So I would think it's nice if Nigerian government and schools and churches should teach about sexual health, teach about contraceptive, teach about the use of condom.
Yes.
I have a Catholic background. In Catholic church, condom or contraceptive is not applicable. But in
Yeah,
my
I'm
home,
pro-life
I grew
because they
up
are
under medical
pro-life.
doctors. It's given, it's prescribed. So this is one of the things I think that Nigerians should try to incorporate into our system. You know, schools, churches, let there be discussions about it. With this way, we can reduce unwanted pregnancy. We can reduce abortion. We can reduce having second wife when you don't need to take second wife.
That's another
I like
topic,
that.
oh.
According to you, he had to pay the dowry because she was pregnant.
No need for that.
No need.
No need.
Well, I support
Thank you.
what everybody is saying. It is good to teach our children. Here in the United States, they teach them.
Yeah.
Because I remember when my daughter was in the third grade, she brought in a paper for us to sign that, is it okay for the school to teach? I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's fine. And the first time she got a period, she was little at the time. I'm like, We went to the store to go pick up some pads and, oh, mommy, this is what I'll get. I'm like, okay, how did you know it? At the time, she was like 9 years old. I'm like, how? She's like, mommy, we have to get twin. I'm like, what is twin? I don't even know. At the time, I didn't talk to her about it because I didn't know she was going to start early. Because I started late. I was 16. So I wasn't expecting her. I was shocked. So when she got home, she's like, oh, mommy, they already taught us in school that we get twin. And I'm like, twin?
Sorry.
She even
Let me cut you here.
what
Do you know it is so shameful here in Nigeria that some pharmacies do not even sell contraceptives? Some pharmacies here in Nigeria will tell you it's a scheme.
My husband will go to the store with my daughter and go and buy.
They don't even sell it. Even to you as an adult, you walk into a pharmacy and you ask for contraceptive, they tell you they don't sell it because of their religious affiliation.
The problem
the height, if you ask me.
The problem we have in Nigeria is that we don't separate religion from morals. We always put everything under religion. Religion don't have to see, and this word religion is one of the biggest problems we are having all over the world, not just Nigeria, because there are things that common sense should tell you, but because you go to church and somebody is brainwashing you, you just buy into it. Even though when you see the thing is black or white, they will brainwash you into thinking it is red. And I don't believe in religion. I believe in your personal relationship with your maker. That is what matters. It's not about religion. Religion don't have to tell you. See, do religion tell you to brush your teeth because you're going to have a mouth odor in the morning? They don't tell you to do that. You do that. They don't tell you. They don't tell you to eat when you are hungry or to take the food and put in your nose instead of your mouth. There are things that we're supposed to use as common sense. What works? It's just the same thing I tell people about marriage. There's no written manuscript that work for every marriages. I'm sorry to chip in that. What works in one person's marriage does not work in another person. You just have to find a common balance. Same way with raising your children. Because you raised your children, you didn't have any problem, doesn't mean that other people will not meet gridlock on their way raising their own children. You just got to find a common ground to see, I'm a nurse. I'm a pediatric nurse. And I'm going to tell you that I talk to every teenager that walks into my office. If you need contraceptive, you are free to get it. It's better to be safe than sorry.
They will not even let the parents in once the
and the funny thing, let me tell you something. You know the funny thing? We are not allowed to even disclose it to their parents.
Yes.
If a teenager walks into my office now and is pregnant, it is not my right to tell the mom. We are not allowed to do that.
They will not even let you in. They won't let you in.
To the extent that she can even have the baby, give up the baby for adoption, and the parents will not even know.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So
it is true.
It happens. And that is why I tell people the relationship you have with your children is very important. Stop yelling. Stop screaming. Stop pushing them away. Listen.
I yell, but they're still close to me.
Listen, no. Some of us have strong personality. I have a strong personality, and it can be misconstrued for something sometimes. And when I normally catch myself sometimes, I say, "Oh no, I don't mean it that way. This is what I mean. This is what I mean." You have to let them understand, because in America they start to teach them how to smile as a baby. When we taught how to smile, we don't even have a smiling face. Our face is like stone. Most times, and our kids can't even. They are so afraid.
Sex that you get in trouble in Nigeria.
See, they are so.
The pediatric nurse. I didn't get your name.
Me, Funmi.
Oh, Funmi, thank you. Honestly,
so I'll just give other people room to talk. I like your show. Keep it up. I'm always here on Saturday to look up to it. Let some other people come and talk. I'll just leave.
You really educated us, Funmi. Thank you so much.
Well, I came from Daddy Freeze. Daddy Freeze just talked about you. So I'm like, okay, let me just go and kind of enjoy
honestly,
the discussion.
You guys have really upped this show today because I'm trying to gather a momentum where more Nigerian women can see it as all right to talk to the school PTA, school boards, to include, what do you call it? To make our sex education curriculum in our school inclusive of contraceptive methods. Teaching them about reproduction is not enough. It isn't adequate. The world we're in today is not the world that we were raised in. When we were growing up, we didn't have the internet to educate us, but our children have the internet. So if we do not educate them properly, they will get this education some other place, and it is not going to be good for us as parents. It isn't. So we need to sensitize more parents to make the churches, all the religious organizations in Nigeria, and the schools to inculcate this training, this learning in our institutions of learning for minors. You know, because what you're going to see when we're done with this show, I'm going to upload it. The comment is going to be crazy. We're going to have the deeper moms. They are going to come and fight. Why would you say that? Are you trying to teach our children bad things? Come on, they know those things. You were telling us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think our pastors in Nigeria too should, because a lot of Nigerians, they so much believe in all these pastors. Yes. Now that we know that they believe in the pastors, then our pastors too should do something.
Yeah.
Because they make it, Nigeria, they're so strict that even during, it's just too much. Like they will tell you, like, on your wedding day, you can't wear white because you're not. No. Yeah, United States is not like that. You wear whatever you want to wear.
White is just a color. You wear whatever it is you want to wear.
It's just a color. Because I remember they told my sister that she wasn't going to wear white. I'm like, what for? And I was supposed to come and get married in Nigeria. I'm like, no way. I'm wearing my white. I stayed here and got married. Yeah, I thought I'm wearing my white. It's just a color.
It's just a color of choice. So
yeah, it's just a color. Then they were like, oh no, because what? If our pastors can get the understanding too, maybe they should start teaching our pastors too. They will be able to put it inside a parent's brain. No, because here in the United States, once the child is 11 years old, they will not even let you in. They will ask the child, do you want your parents in? Once the child says no, you're staying outside.
Serious? As young as 11?
Yeah. Once the child is 11, period, you can't go in.
Oh my God.
They will not ask you, the parent. They will ask the child, do you want your parents inside? And once the child says no, that's it. They'll just tell you to go outside.
Children have a lot of rights.
Hi. What's your take on the topic? Should our children be taught contraceptives in our institutions of learning for minors between the ages of 13 and 19, teenagers? Should the sex education curriculum be inclusive of the use of contraceptives?
Absolutely. Now, this is indeed a very dicey topic that we need to talk about.
It is dicey in Nigeria.
Yeah. I've always been of the opinion that
I don't believe in that though.
And I try as much as possible to push that narrative with my children. And this was until the Chrisland issue with that 10-year-old child riding like Red Riding Hood. I was like, no way. So after that, I called my daughters. I was like, do you guys know what a condom is? I said, you know what? I'm going to go buy you one and show you what it is like. You're going to open it, you're going to look at it, because the first thing I noticed with that video was there was no protection.
Absolutely. That's what I also noticed. And I was like, oh my
The
God.
boy was enjoying himself, or it seemed to be that, and so was the lady. And I was like, at what age? She snuck from the 4th floor to the 11th floor. And then what amazed me was that there were other children in the room who casually, it was like they were reading a book. It was that casual.
Because they're used to it. It's not the first time it's happening.
No, the person holding the phone was like, what are people doing? This is not good. Or it was like, yeah, it was casual.
Very, very casual.
And
regular occurrence. It's normal.
The realization, and a sad realization, to be entirely honest, that our moral and religious upbringing did not really adjust our moral compass. To be very honest, it only made us more hypocritical and more critical. Our children need to be taught how to use these things. I try to tell my children that, look, intercourse involves more than just penetration and organs. You are not mentally ready for it.
Absolutely.
Because it involves, I know what it's like when you have a quarrel with your wife or your husband. When you're studying and you're trying to have certain things in focus, you would mess your future up. You start thinking about this and that. But you see, that won't stop the children. So the best thing is,
a lot of them will still want to experiment.
They want to experiment. And it's the right thing, because that's what their brains are telling them to do. We cannot suppress that part of their brains. Now, we also need to understand that the reason why the UK and the US government is teaching children about contraceptives is because it is a burden on the government when they get pregnant.
Yeah, unwanted pregnancies, teen moms, all over the place.
And the government is tired. So the government says, you know what? We're gonna reduce the pregnancies by teaching these people. Any belief your parents have at home, that's
the cost implication for the government is huge.
It's huge.
So, it is.
So part of the reason why the government is so concerned is because they are spending money. Nigerian government, you get.
They don't care. I mean, you're on your own, on your
house. So the moment the Nigerian government has to start paying for this, you see how quickly they'll push the church to one side. Hey, you keep quiet. Yeah. And let me tell you something, yeah. Our church-based moral system is a failure.
Hypocritical.
Yep.
We have more churches on every street than any other country in the world. Yet in America, you don't hear of ritual killing. In Nigeria, ritual killing is a daily. It's a daily. Monday, that means they took public holiday on Monday. They are back on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We have more criminals. In Amsterdam, a country that is mostly religious, they closed down 13 churches because 13 prisons because they didn't have prisoners to put aside. So, you see, at the end of the day, with all our religious upbringing, how morally upright are we? Nigeria is the second country in the world, except for Jamaica, when it comes to paternity fraud. So all the moral, all the Bible we read, all the prayers we prayed, where did it get us? So we now assuming the responsibility upon our children that we did not have. How many of us married as virgins? We want our children to marry as virgins. Did you marry as a virgin? If you married as a virgin, what was the society like then when you were getting married?
And then
now, even then, when you were growing up, how many people were still getting, even our own time, how many people were really virgins when they... So Here's
Well,
where
we're hypocritical. We are.
I think it's a very brilliant initiative, and I support it 100%. I think parents must, not even should, must teach their children about contraceptives and must educate them in line with their responsibility as parents, understanding the dynamics of an emerging world.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Daddy Freeze. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daddy Freeze.
Thank you so much, Okres.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Funmi. I believe we've learned a lot, and all the pointers that we've collectively raised, I'm going to be putting it out as bullets, so people that cannot watch the entire videos can still read these bullets and know, because here on Life Journey, we don't just want to come and talk. We want our talking to translate into doing. We need a lot of things to change. Like you can see, or like Daddy Freeze has also pointed out, in the Western world, the government gets to pay for unwanted pregnancies, and
they do
that. But here in Nigeria, the government is not affected. Only the parents of the teenage mom is going to be affected. So the burden lies on us as parents to prevent this from happening, because should anything go wrong, the burden is going to lie solely on us as parents. So as parents, we have to become proactive. We have to act in the best interest of our children and for ourselves as parents. Imagine a woman being a mom to a teenage daughter that is pregnant. It is traumatic. The stigmatization, the financial implication, it is huge. So whatever it is you know affects you negatively as a person, you have to start doing everything in your power to ensure it does not happen. So we have to sensitize moms. We have to sensitize parents. It's our cross to carry. Our government here is not going to help. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. And this
I need to add something too.
Saturday, late nights every Saturday. So you can catch us next week, Saturday. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Okres TV.
Thank
you. Have a lovely weekend.
You too. Bye.
You too. Can you end from your side? I don't know how to end.
Yes, I will.
Please. Thank you.
Thank you.
This engine. I don't know how to end.
Yeah, I just did. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching. I hope we have all learned something from today's show. Unfortunately, I'm unable to add 7 other people. Ijoma, Janume, Frankins, Sexy, Icy Pate. Seriously, next week, we're still going to talk about this, and hopefully you'll be here to air your views. And if you do have comments, please put them down in the comment section. A lot of people are going to be reading those comments, and they will learn from it. Air your views in our comment section, or join us next week, Saturday, to air your views live on this show. Thank you so much for joining in, and do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.